players, by the way.
Coach won
All of
some
them are up here.
hardware. LSU took home some hardware tonight, including Coach O winning the Coach of the Year. Very well deserved. And he is here with us on set.
Everybody.
Burrow.
What a night for you guys, huh?
What a night.
I mean, this.
I didn't expect all this, to be honest with you.
Really, after the year you had, you thought you might clean up a little bit tonight?
Yeah, I'm so proud of our players. I really am. Those guys deserve it. They work so hard. They're great players.
What was the turning point for you guys to go from? And you asked the same question to some of these other coaches, like Dabo. Certainly, he had a moment where his team went from pretty good year in and year out, 9 wins, maybe even 10 wins, to national championship caliber. What was the moment for you guys?
I think that's putting in the spread offense in LSU. And one spring scrimmage, we completed 80% of our footballs. And I figured
That's a bad day now in the regular season. Good Lord.
I just thought when we walked off the field, we have a chance to have a really good offense. And then our game against Texas, that play on 3rd down and 17, Joe made the big play.
Yep.
It gave our team a lot of confidence.
Okay, here's what I got to know. How did you find Joe Brady? How did that conversation happen? How did you get to New Orleans? Who told you about it? How did you get there?
We had heard about him. We have friends on the staff, obviously. And we wanted to look at the Saints passing game, the red zone offense, the 2-minute. And we also asked them if they knew anything about the RPOs. They say we have a young guy that was at Penn State that's an expert. So he came in and he clinicked our staff on RPOs. The guy was excellent. I said, I'm going to get him.
Thanks for letting us come in. Hey, you coming with me.
I started recruiting at that moment. At that moment, I started recruiting, and in that season, Steve and I decided we had to go to the spread. And we called the Saints, the people we knew. I called Kevin Rogers, a coach that I believe in, and Joe had worked with Kevin Rogers before. We believed in him, and he took off.
Coach, you keep your guys so emotionally charged each and every week. You even got me ready to run through a wall when I watch your quotes. How do you keep your guys locked in from now all the way through the semifinal game?
We got to trust in the process. You guys played. It's about ongoing skill development. It's about getting better. It's about eyes, hands, hips, and feet. It's about tell the truth Monday, competition Tuesday, turnover Wednesday. No repeat Thursday. Focus Friday. Take it one game at a time. I say block out the noise. None of that stuff out there matters.
Yep.
We got to play football.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you noticed, you had a lot of your guys here, but Ohio State had a few too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw that Freaky Friday dude with the dreads. You see that dude?
I did. Yes, I did.
What do you think about Ohio State and that matchup and some of the guys you've seen here, obviously?
I think they're a phenomenal team. They have first-round draft choices all over the place. Coach Day has
Who
done
stuck
great.
out the most?
Say it again.
Watching the tape, which Ohio State player stuck out the most?
Chase, no question. The way he plays the game with the
unreal.
tenacity. He's one of the best defensive players I've seen in a long time.
Let's talk about Joe Burrow for a second. One of the things that, everything catches your eye when you watch him play, the accuracy and whatnot. But on senior day when he had the Burrow, the EAUX on the back, and he showed it, he became a legend. I mean, the fans have really embraced him, haven't they?
Joe has some moxie about him.
He does.
Joe has some recruiting ability about him. He has captured the state of Louisiana. They love it. I think the thing best about Joe, and you guys know that played, is processing. He processes stuff really fast, man. Whether to change the protection, not to change the protection, sees things downfield, and our players believe in him.
Seeing you here winning the awards and the players on your team, very special moment for you. Everybody here in attendance, though, certainly saw the Casey O'Brien moment when he won the Disney Spirit Award. Again, just another one of those magical moments here during the College Football Playoff Award Show that everybody really gets into and really enjoys in a poignant moment. He caught up with Marty Smith afterward.
Minnesota placeholder Casey O'Brien is the winner of the Disney Spirit Award, and what an amazing story you are. I heard something in that great piece Gene Wojciechowski did that your father said football saved your life. Why did football save your life?
It gave me something to look forward to when I was laying in a hospital bed. I would be in the hospital for 5 days straight. And I knew that once I finished those 5 days, I'd get to go be with my teammates and I'd get to go play football. So it gave me something to look forward to, and it was a little carrot that was hanging over that, all the bad days and all the chemo and everything like that, that I get to go out and go play ball.
What were you thinking when you ran out on the field against Rutgers and it was finally your time?
All I was thinking was just to take it all in. That was what I was thinking the whole weekend, is that I had prepared for my whole life to get to play in that moment, and I was ready for it, but I wanted to make sure that I enjoyed it. I mean, those moments don't come often, so I wanted to take it all in.
You and I had a conversation before we started this interview that you have the opportunity to fellowship with other young people going through the same thing. What example do you hope to set with the battle that you've waged?
I would tell you that my goal is to let kids know that no matter what a doctor or whatever someone might want to tell you and tell you can't do, you can look at me and say, he heard that he would never jog again, and he's out playing Big Ten football. So you can look at me and say, if he can do that, then I can go do whatever I want to do in my life.
And you can do whatever you want. You're a light in the world, young man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, and congratulations. Guys.
All right, Marty and Casey. And, Coach, we heard Coach Fleck up here on the stage talk about toughness and how tough that kid is. It's got to be inspirational to have somebody like that on your team to exhibit that kind of toughness.
No question, man. What a great story. And I'm so impressed with Coach Fleck and the way he speaks, the way he talks about him. I can't say enough about the young man.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks for stopping by. Good night for you.
Go Tigers.
We'll let you go revel.
Good things have happened in Atlanta from my dude over here.
You know what?
Pretty good.
I wish I could say I was reveling, but I'm in a home at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Getting to work.
On to recruiting.
On
There
to
we go.
recruiting.
Yes, sir.
On to recruiting.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sure the LSU fans are happy about that. All right, congratulations to this year's recipient of the William V. Campbell Trophy presented by Mazda. Justin Herbert won the award. I mean, the guy comes into this year, everybody expecting the world from him, and he just goes ahead and delivers the world. And to your point, everybody 4.0 GPA combined. I don't know if you and I sure got 4.0.
I couldn't double mine and have 4.0.
Saturday, UFC 245 in Las Vegas features 3 title fights. The main event on pay-per-view, Kamaru Usman defending his welterweight title against top contender Colby Covington, plus Max Holloway and Amanda Nunes put their titles on the line. Starting at 10 o'clock Eastern. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to espnplus.com/PPV. Be sure to download the ESPN app if you're watching on your mobile device. ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes, this, by the way, will have prelims starting at 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at AT&T's best performer of the weekend. Isaiah Simmons was spectacular all season long, helped lead Clemson to yet another beatdown, this time against Virginia in the ACC championship game. And even though he didn't win the award tonight, in terms of walking away with the hardware, again, he, like so many of these guys, they've got bigger fish to fry and bigger plans, and that's the team award and winning another national championship. Emmanuel, this guy is different than really so many other players. And when we thought about Clemson coming back this year, they had to replace that entire defensive line. How good would they be? They lose that leadership. He kind of picks that up, and he's sort of this hybrid player, isn't he? Where will he play at the next level? Doesn't that help his dominance at the college level?
Well, when you talk about having to replace so many pieces, it helps, Cotter, when you have a guy that can play so many pieces. And that's what Simmons can do. Inside backer, he can do it. Outside backer, he can do it. Oh, you want him to play deep safety? He can do it all. And you heard him today when he did the interview. I feel like you can put me anywhere and I can dominate. Not only does he say that with his words on the film, he backs that up.
It's pretty fun to watch. I
Yeah.
mean, a guy that you can literally move around and have success at every position. And listen, Clemson's defense will be fun to watch in the playoff. I'm looking forward to watching them against Ohio State because they got athletes like Simmons and Xavier Thomas. And I'm looking to see if those other guys up front, if there's a test for them, because they've dominated competition that hasn't been great and offenses that haven't been great.
Right.
It's an Ohio State offense that can stretch you vertically. They can run the QB. They can give it to Dobbins 30 times a game if they need to. It's going to be really interesting to watch this whole Clemson defense. And we've talked about them reloading from a year ago. How dominant are they? I'm curious.
The other thing, Pollock, is there's going to be a learning curve, and you're going to see it twice. One, not having played football for 3 weeks. It matters when you see it in the playoffs December 28th. But then the other thing, you talk about Clemson. They haven't seen a Dobbins before.
Nope.
You know, they haven't seen an Olave running out at wide receiver, a Benjamin Victor, and for sure not the dude you mentioned earlier in Justin Fields. You haven't seen
the 14th best quarterback in the playoffs. Yeah, the guys you don't want to talk about.
But Clemson hasn't seen a plethora of just dogs out there at one time. So it's going to be real interesting, and I'm eager to see how quick they react and respond.
How about, a guy like Perkins for Virginia? I'm not saying that he is the type of quarterbacks
He's one dude that is really good.
Right.
Just didn't have dudes around him. He doesn't have a great offensive line that allows him time to be able to scramble and make things happen. Like, he had to literally make everybody miss. I understand what you're saying. He's a dynamic player.
That at least he gives them
player.
some glimpse of a quarterback that can take over a game.
But it's just him. Like he said, there's nobody else around him that can help. So you just take away him and you focus all eyes on him. It's a little bit different.
Because it's different when you talk about the prep for it all. And Pollock, you know this sitting in the defensive meeting room. It's easy, Cotter, to take one guy out. It's real easy. You can double him. You can spy him. You can do whatever. But when you can't just sit here and stack the box on Dobbins because you got a guy like Fields who can throw touchdown passes galore, that's when it gets more complicated. That's why this game's going to be so phenomenal.
Yeah, I would think the Clemson defense and how they react might be the story of the playoffs in terms of the biggest unknown. The one that we really have to look at to see how, to your point, after 3 weeks off.
But they're playing a scrubby quarterback, so, I mean.
Nobody ever said that.
Nobody said
You're putting words in our mouths right now. What a night we had here at the College Football Awards. Emotional night.
Surprise! And
Jordan Kicker.
He's not a human, by the way.
Blankenship gets the award.
I don't think he's human. Seersuckers and those Tigers.
Playoffs are on the 28th. 4 o'clock first at Chick-fil-A.